This video shows you how to set up a very simple test fixture for challenge 4. Normally what most people would do is they would open challenge 3, the crane, and they would then simply add the parts necessary to make it a motorized crane. I like to do it a little bit differently. I like to maybe just set up a real quick model of challenge number 4 and just make sure, or number 3, and then use that to practice my challenge number 4. So let's log on in. We know how to do this. So I'm going to wait for it to load, and of course I'm going to click my little compass up here into that triangle. And I repeat this again and again just so that it will help you remember it. And so we have this. I'm going to open up XDesign. And I'm going to set up a new project or new component. And it's going to be challenge number 4. And I'm going to say test, because this is just something I'm going to use just to see if it works. So, and it's in my personal space, and so we're ready to go. Now, in this case, what I'm going to do is to make a very simple model of the crane, and then so I don't have to deal with all the other stuff going on. So let's click it off here. And this simple model is just for experimentation, that you cannot build off of this kind of a model. So I'm going to do an assembly, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to represent the base by only one leg of the base. So I need to not mate, because there's nothing to mate. I need to load in a 120 millimeter extrusion. And that would be one side of the base. Remember, we have this thing, all these parts. So I click up into my 6W tags. I'm just going to look at my stuff. And I'm going to pop down here, and I'm looking at extrusions, and there's a 120 millimeter extrusion. So I'm going to pick that up. And this will be my anchor point on this. Okay, it's sitting right up there. So I have an extrusion. Okay, now what do I need to do is I want now to put the extrusions on. So that would be the base. So I should probably rotate it around a little bit so it looks more like the base. And remember, when I'm doing this, what I'm doing in this case is I'm holding down the scroll wheel and then just moving the mouse around to get this. So now I'm going to then put one of the 225 millimeter extrusions, which form the boom of the crane. So I'm going to pop here, and it's right here. There's a 225 millimeter, and I'll put this in. Okay, now the 225 millimeter is sitting right on top of the 120 millimeters. So let's move it so we can understand how to fix it. So I'm going to select the 225 millimeter, and notice I get these little arrows that popped up. This is that little triad for dragging. I'm just going to move this thing down. Maybe I'll just move it up. Okay, so it's up like there. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to make sure that they're in the same plane. So I'm going to rotate this, and then I'm going to put these faces, these outside faces, in the same plane. So I do that by doing a mate. I'm going to select either one of these faces for that define the plane of this. I'll do that face. Notice I got an edge rather than a face. Let's get rid of that edge, and then we'll go in a little bit more. Then I make sure I have a face. I'm going to go in up here, and I'm going to pick up a face here. And now I'm going to make those coincident. So what that says is that these faces will be one on top. They'll be lined up in the same plane. So I do this. And so I have that. So let's just do this. Now I want to make them so that they'll hinge. Okay, So once that there's a 45-degree angle between them. And the way I can do that is go down here and pick this edge. Uh, Okay, so let me get my mate tool going. So I have that edge. In this edge, notice I'm not doing faces, I'm doing edges because I want this thing to hinge up. So I just want these two lines that define these edges to basically line up. So I'll make those concentric. I got it there. So let's pop here, or coincident, I'm sorry, not concentric. And so now I have this. So now what I want to do is I want to make this at 135 degrees, or 45 degrees. So I'll make this line over here. So let me pick a face here. And by the way, I could use an edge here, but I'll use a face. Bang. Okay, so I had an edge. I don't want an edge. Let me get a face. There it is. Okay, and then I will use a face here to just get 135 degrees. So I have the two faces, and then I put this. It says it's 0 degrees. Now I'm going to make it 45 degrees. And so let me see what it looks like. And there it is. Okay, so I'm going to go like that. So now I rotate this up, and you see what I have? I have the one side of this is the frame that we had for the base, and the other side is running up here as the boom. And it's a little bit ragged over here in this corner, the way I set it up, but it's just something to build on. So I think this will be fine. So now I need to finish up. I want to get the other side of the boom. So I'm going to try to replicate this. And so I'll just go here to this extrusion, and I'll do Control C and then Control V. And now I have the second part. So the second side of it. So I'm going to get those to line up, and I'll do it the following way. I'll run it over here, and let's see, I want to probably move this over to the left. So I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to pick up its little arrow, and I'm going to drag its arrow over here. Okay, now I want to make these in the same plane. So, as I did before, so I will I'll pick up a mate. I will go over here, make sure I pick up this face, and I pick up this face, and I make them coincident. Okay? So now they are in the same plane as they would be in the real model. Now I want to make them so that they are at another plane. So notice I'm not going to click the green here. I'm just going to say apply and continue. So now I can pick these two faces. So I'll pick this face first, and then I'll run over here and pick this face, and then I'll make those concentric. Coincident. So I'll do that. Now I think I'm done. Let's see what it looks like. So I have this piece that is my model. Now, is it complete? No, it doesn't have the pulleys, it doesn't have all the hardware, it doesn't have the brackets, but it's a place to start, okay? And then I could use this. As a matter of fact, what I generally do if I'm making something, I will basically make something like this, get the geometries right, and then start filling in the details later on. So that's the end of this particular video. The main video you have, you've already viewed, and that's talking about how do we get the motors on there and this kind of stuff. Take care.